So, for some years now is the topic of transformation. Just a moment. You have trouble. So, for some years now, the topic of transformation has been on everybody's lips. It is hardly possible to open a daily newspaper or non-fiction book or business book without coming into contact with this topic. And as always, when a topic is booming, it's likely to become a buzzword. But buzzwords lead us to the dilemma, because on the one hand, they have a justification, they address a need. On the other hand, they cause a problem because everyone understands something different by the term, and even worse, they avoid and ignore them because they are annoying. We talk too much about the topic. I have had some similar experiences in my previous job. My colleagues used to say to me, "Come on, Reza, every year we pick a new topic. We talk about a long time in the year, and at the end, the topic disappeared through the back door of organization." And I think this attitude is very dangerous because it contributes to us to developing a pessimistic and passive view. And that's not the really attitude what we need during the time of transformation. Because what makes a transformation significant and special is its systematic effect. Transformation changes the functioning of our system in a radical way. Transformation changes the law and the logic of our system. We now realize that our energy system has to transform. How we use them and how we produce them should transform. And not to mention our mobility system, not to mention our education system, but transformation doesn't change only on our environment. The transformation changes also us. The way how we work, how we communicate, how we consume, but also how we identify ourselves, that will be radically changed. And today, the driver of this transformation, digitalization, globalization, individualization, they're setting a high pace and dynamic, and they're leading us to the interesting time, the time of turbulence, where we get the feeling we are no longer staying on the safe ground. We have the feeling our time is running out, and we'll live between two times in which the old one doesn't work as usual, and the new doesn't work yet as desired. And we know and we feel that present cannot providing us the right solution and the right answer regarding the future. But one thing is certain, a lot of things will be changed, and we will be challenged, and we are already in this situation. We feel that the familiar is disappearing, and our old normality has developed cracks and has become fragile, and we have associated certain stability and security with our normality, but we can't find this security and stability during the time of transition. It seems that our society depends on acceleration, innovation, and growth only to maintain the structures. And one of the famous sociologists of German, Hartmut Rosa, said rightly, the logic of higher, faster, and further is only to serve to maintain our status quo. And it seems as we are standing on the escalator like a wrong way wronger, and we have to constantly run over, and in order to not drop downwards. And that's a problem that creates pressure. So, what is the consequence of this? The consequence of this in modern society is that we are living in a society where everything gets faster and faster, and we are living in a time of rapid change. We are feeling the shortage of time, and since Albert Einstein, we know time is relative. It's relative in our own view. It can go by slowly and can go by quickly, but in time of late modernity, we feel always the time passing by very quickly and we can't stop it. The next consequences is that modern and open society, they are becoming more and more complex. There are too many actors and institutions, they are highly interconnected, and each of these systems has his own interests, his own function, and his own perspective. And if you want to change one of the systems, you will be highly impact to the next system. That's very strong, and that is typical for a complex system. Their behavior is very unpredictable, and a complex system can have several wrong and right solutions at the same time. And who can claim to be able to master such a complex system in depth and to make the right solution? This is impossible. And that creates also confusion. And we feel this overload everywhere, but particularly among our decision makers. And this is my biggest concern, that our decision makers have to deal permanently with operational issues and multiple crises. And this is one other typical point for modern society. Modern society creates always crisis, but no longer after another, because once at the same time. And dealing with this operational issues and with this crisis are so time-consuming and comprehensive that our decision makers have don't time to shape the future and think about the future. And this is a very problem, because we don't have big picture, we don't have a vision about the future, and at the same time we know that we cannot suppress the change, or we cannot suppress transformation. Change and transformation is going by anyway, and there is no pause button. And the question is this fine to go back and do nothing and hope in faith? I think not. What is very important is that the people take a responsibility and doing what for the transformation. And this is where we need another feeling about the change and transformation. We should embrace the change, and we shouldn't make it our own. It is very important to look at the change in a positively way. And the logic and the principle of change is usually very simple. Change means the old goes and the new comes. The new replaces the old. And this logic is very highly positivated in some context in the society, as in the technology, innovation, or in biology, the evolution is highly positive. But we find some negative narratives when it comes to us, when it comes to change about the organization, and we should change that. Because the logic of our transformation or change was in the past that change is only a necessary step between an equilibrium stage to the next equilibrium stage. as a tightrope walker, moving from the one stable rock to the next stable rock, and change is only the intermediate step. It is not nice, it's annoying, but we should do that. But now in the modern time, we feel we are always walking on the rope. And this is what people talk about the new normal. We don't arrive the next block, and we are always going through this rope. And this is very important. If we want to be viable and sustainable, we should handle with two functions in systems. We should move and we should balance between two functions. One is renewing and another is optimizing. We should go sometimes in time of transformation and talk about a new system, and sometimes we should hold the stability and optimize our system. These both poles we need to remain viable in our organization. But we had no idea in old organization how transformation works. We didn't have the chance to gain experiences about transformation. And the best way to explain transformation is when we look at in the nature and look at the metamorphosis. And this is the best way. When we talk about change, we want to strive to make things better and finer, and the product in future will always be improved version of the past, and we are always playing with the same rules and with same paradigm. And in contrast, a transformation is renewing always the system, and very important part is transformation needs always a paradigm shift. But in large organizations, so our metamorphosis look like this, and in the startups, they try to make a transformation like this. But only we have two strategies to handle with the topic of transformation. We can design or prevent. And we will now look at this strategy, and I will start about prevent. And there are some patterns you can see in organization that resist change. And I call them the 7 ways for preventing change. And this pattern plays out often in the mindset of the actors. Because of time, we will go and see only 3 of these. The first one is hiding. In large organization, you can see a pattern which I call duck and dive. Duck and dive is a technique in surfing when the surfer pushes the surfboard under the water to avoid upcoming waves and save energy. And something similar happens in large organization during the time of change. You will bring yourself and your issues under the radar until the wind of change rolled by, and then you reappear. The next one is prohibit. Some steps for development and transformation have been often banned in society and organization. The cars has also been banned because the people they had talk about it could be a danger, people could die, it could be a danger for safety public, and we know 1 million people die today in traffic accident, but cars had prevailed and has become status symbol. This is not right strategy. So the next one is repress or smiled at or ignores the new. And a famous CEO, Mr. Steve Ballmer from Microsoft, did that too in 2006. And let us see and hear what he say about iPhone.
Steve, let me ask you about the iPhone and the Zoom, if I may. Zune was getting some traction, then Steve Jobs goes to Macworld and he pulls out this iPhone. What was your first reaction when you saw that?
$500 fully subsidized with a plan? I said, that is the most expensive phone in the world, and it doesn't appeal to business customers because it doesn't have a keyboard, which makes it not a very good email machine. Now, it may sell very well or not. We have our strategy. We've got great Windows mobile devices in the market today. You can get a Motorola Q phone now for $99. It's a very capable machine. It'll do music. It'll do internet. It'll do email. It'll do instant messaging. So I kind of look at that and I say, well, I like our strategy. I like it a lot.
I'm sure he regret this interview and he talked about his strategy. And so I should quote Mr. Strategy Mike Tyson. He said, sure, everyone has a strategy until they get punched in the face. So that's a problem. And Mr. Ed Catmull is a CEO, co-founder from Pixar, together with Steve Jobs. And they wrote a fantastic book, Creativity, Inc., and summarized in one chapter about the problem why organizations fail to make the next step in the S-curve. And he explains that organization creates always hungry beasts. And by this hungry beast, it means it's daily business, day-to-day business is very strong because it's responsible for success today and for the past. And the hungry beast is always hungry. He wants more budget, he wants more attention, he wants more headcounts. And here now, he said, is born an ugly baby in the organization. And the ugly baby, by this, he means new idea. They are first incomplete, and they are ideas from the other person. But we don't protect the babies, and always we protect hungry bees. And that's the reason why they fail. So now we should talk about how can transformation succeed. And first, bad news is there is no magic solution for transformation processes. There are no recipes and checklists who can be used. But transformation is always a tailoring customer suit, always individual, always unique. And but good news is you can find some essential factors that are very necessary to start a transformation. And they are first the actors who take the responsibility. Then we need a future, a big picture about the future. The next one is we should talk about our culture and behavior. And the next one is the way, the path between how we want to work together. And the second one is value. So always when we try to make a transformation, we should really think about the 5 essential factors. So, because of time, we will talking first about point 1, who take a responsibility, and every change, every formation has a beginning, and responsibility for change or transformation started when someone standing for something. And they realized there are too many dysfunctional in systems. They are a bottleneck. They have the problem in the organization, and mostly started with a protest. But only one person cannot change a system. But when we start with ourselves and we win another person, we can double the chance of the change. And therefore, you need always for the transformation movement, the movement inside our organization or societies. But there is not enough, because if you want to make a transformation, you have to change your system too. Therefore, you need a support from the decision makers. And transformation need always in like a pincers. You need movement from above and movement from below. And that's very important why to start a transformation. The next one is we should talk about a future, and the past was the future in like this, that we saw a future as a dark room, and we cannot see in this room, and we tried to make a light into these rooms in manner of the numbers, business case. And the logic was that the future is always a continuation from the past and from the present. But when we want to go to the transformation, we cannot take the logic of the linear, because transformation is always a process from discovery and experimentation that cannot go linear, but also is a process of cycle, iterative and creative with an open end. You make 2 steps front and 1 step you go back. So, and you can go, the future approach can be one in time. You can you go from today to tomorrow. It's more the planning and forecasting. And the next one is you have an imagination and you go back from future to tomorrow. And you need both balance to make a future of the transformation. So, I see I have only 3 minutes, so I have to skip and go to the last point about the value. It is important to remember that transformation doesn't have to be end in itself. We shouldn't change or transform our system for sake of it, but we should always try to enhance our systems. And the purpose of development for the systems should be meaningful and should be sustainable. The reason why we can start a transformation can be different. Sometimes is it new technology, sometimes is it disruptive driver in your business, but this all should only be a signal and should be always input in your system in order to moving around, to vibration your system. The output of this should lead to value, always to lead value for the people and planet. That is what we need in time of transformation. And during this time, you will find more pessimists, but the pessimists cannot change the world because they cannot offer a solution, but they can prevent the change. What we always need in time of transformation is people who take responsibility. And responsibility is the key factor in time of transformation. So thank you very much.